I'm here in the studio today with our Linn-Mar High School principal, Dr. Gustason. LMTV has asked you, the students, what questions you have for Dr. G and compiled a few for today. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Gustason.
Thank you for asking me and having me here, Jacqueline.
So, can you tell us what has most impressed you about the way students have adjusted and adapted to school during these recent uncertain times?
Well, the last 13 months have not been easy for anyone. And for students, it's been rather difficult in a lot of ways, both academically and socially, emotionally as well. But I think the thing that's impressed me the most about our students is their resilience. That term gets used a lot, I know, but it's true. Students have dealt with what's been given to them, and they've made the best of it. We've had some students that have struggled mightily, and we need to attend to those and work with them. We've had some students that it just has not been easy for, and we've had some students that have thrived. And so, I think they've been very resilient to the whole process. I think they've been very cooperative as we've come back into the building. Just the number of things that we've asked students to do, from mask wearing to social distancing, things that are just not normal to an existence of a high school student. And they've handled it well. They've been very cooperative about it. And I appreciate the fact that they're doing that because it's not being done for any reason other than to try to protect people and to make our school as safe as possible for everyone.
So can you tell us some of the ways that Linn-Mar students can become more involved and really share their opinions and voices with the administration?
Sure, and I think when it comes to a large building with well over 2,000 students, we try to be as approachable as we can be. That's why we try to be out and about, especially when students are out and about, so that students feel comfortable coming up and asking us questions or approaching us. So they're more than welcome to do that. They can come in, they can set up an appointment and come into the office and meet with us. They can email us. We will email back. And then there's some formal ways as well, and one of them is student advisory. We have one for each grade level, and if students really want to provide feedback and give input on a consistent basis, that's probably one of the easier ways for them to do that as well.
So can you tell us about some of the different ways you've been working to address the needs of all students, including the online-only ones who it might be harder for them to communicate with teachers at the time?
Yeah, as I said earlier, students have struggled in many ways with the academic issues that the pandemic has brought, as well as the social emotional issues. And so from the academic standpoint, the first thing, whether somebody's hybrid, whether somebody's online, and even students that are in person because of how we've been using the dual platform teaching in a classroom, the technology has to be working. It has to be in place. And so making sure everybody has what they need in a technological sense, making sure our teachers feel comfortable with the technology and using it. I don't know that we could have set in place a professional development for our teachers 5 years out prior to the pandemic that would have gotten us to the point that our teachers are at now, simply because we've had to react to online teaching and just the skills that they've acquired in order to survive as a teacher are now there. And so those things are important. Trying to provide academic supports for students, the RTI piece, has been really important for us to put in place because, we are online in many instances, which means that students are going to need time outside of class and need support from teachers. So how do we provide that? And that's why we've implemented RTI. We've done it a couple of different ways. I think our current model, where we have a morning session and an afternoon session, has worked pretty well for students. I'm not going to say that everything's worked great. I think it's worked pretty well for teachers as well. And then from a social emotional standpoint, having our student assistance counselors, our school counselors, our academic assistance counselors, our teachers, just reaching out to students. I know our counselors have done many home visits, and just trying to be reassuring for students and letting them know what supports are there for them and for their friends or people that they know. And I think all of those things are put in place and more important now simply because of what we've had to deal with the pandemic.
So going forward, can you give us any insight into the anticipated changes for next year's schedule?
Well, I think RTI is something that is important. How we implement it is something that we need to make sure we're doing it so that it is most advantageous for the students as well as for the teachers, and makes the most sense as far as the most students can take advantage of it at one time. So we're still looking at it. I would guess that in the next couple of weeks we should be able to reach an answer on exactly what we're going to do. It's not going to be perfect, but I do think RTI has to play a role within our schedule. And so where exactly it should be placed and make the most difference for students is the question that we're trying to answer right now.
And lastly, can you please share with the students, what is your favorite part of being Linn-Mar High School principal?
Well, and I've used this metaphor before, and I don't want to overuse it, but I've always viewed Linn-Mar High School as a big city with lots of neighborhoods. And the cool thing about my position is I get to see every neighborhood in this building and how it operates. I think one of the responsibilities that we have administratively is to try and make sure that every student feels is accepted and feels comfortable going in and out of every single neighborhood that we have in this building. That we aren't building false and real boundaries between them. You know, we can get locked into our own neighborhoods, in our own existence, and not really see that there's so many other things going on within this building. And that's what I get to view from where I'm at. And I think this could be a really lonely place if people feel closed in and that they can't go to and experience what's going on within Linn-Mar. It seems very small to them. And I think our responsibility is to really try to help open up this whole place to everybody so that they can see what it has to offer. It's a massive place, but there is so much opportunity, and there's so many things, and there's so many wonderful individuals and wonderful things happening that I want to have everybody be able to go out and experience it in whatever way, shape, or form that they want to do so. So that's the thing that I love the most about my job, is that there's so much going on in this place, but the responsibility to really try to make sure that it's open for everybody is pretty serious there as well.
Well, there you have it, Linn-Mar. Your questions answered by our principal, Dr. Gustason. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, Jacqueline.